Tim Manolete is thrilled to announce our partnership with Whoop, the human performance company.
Thank you very much. Penalties helped, especially on Will Harris, as Aaron Jones breaks loose. Jones, he's headed for the end zone, and he's going to be in with a Packer touchdown.
Yeah, but once 14-3 lead goes by the wayside, and what else can you expect from the Lions? It's COVID. It's a crazy year. They had a big lead on Green Bay. Then, of course, it all goes away. But guess what? We've got something to make you feel a lot better. I've got Lawton Lunce and Doug Rose from Xfinity Communities on a special edition of the Task Force brought to you by Xfinity Communities. Listen, I know that it's annoying. It's frustrating. I've basically almost given up, and you both know me. That's very, very, very hard to say. The Lions suck. And before we do anything, let me welcome both of you guys in. Lawton, a longtime friend and broadcast partner. Doug, one of the great humans I've ever known, even though he never sleeps. But let's just talk about this. And Doug, I'll start with you, because I know that you and I are big Lions fans. Okay, listen, did I expect the Lions to win yesterday? Probably not. Did I expect them to be around and have a chance as they've kind of owned Green Bay in recent years? And you get off to the 7-0 lead, then the 14-3 lead, and then it just shows over and over again. I've been a big defender of him. Matt Patricia's not a good coach, and it looks like this is going to end in a very bad way for him and Bob Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. The Lions broke another record. They are the first team in NFL history to blow 4 double-digit leads in a row, and they've lost 11 games in a row now. So it's good we have some cool records, I guess, right? But not the ones you want to have.
Yeah, great stat. Great stat. Thanks a lot. Are you going to tell me next the Lions never do a Super Bowl? But no, and Lawton, you're smart. It's kind of because you're a Dolphins fan, and I wish I could do that, but I'm not built that way. The Lions are my favorite sports team, always have and always will. And it's just so frustrating, especially in this year of years where obviously sports have not been as big as they would have been had there not been a pandemic going on, racial injustice and protesting and all the other things, and people dying, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest in peace. But I don't know how I can't be a Lions fan. You're able to do it. You're from Michigan. You've always been a Finns guy going back. As an outside perspective, do you laugh at the Lions? Do you feel bad for people like Doug and I? Like, what's it like watching that from afar?
I look at it like this. I feel like it's just another instance of friends hiring friends. Bob Quinn decided to hire his friend, Matt Patricia, this supposed defensive genius. That's what they sold to the public. And we've seen anything but defense from Matt Patricia's regime here in Detroit. And unfortunately, I think now it's really starting to falter. I think the worst thing for the Lions that would happen now is that they would start winning and they would consider keeping Matt around. I just think now it's time to break it down. What a waste for Matt Stafford. I mean, the guy's never won a playoff game here. I mean, figure out a way to either get rid of him and trade him and save his career out of respect for him, or you got to get him one more chance with a different coaching staff that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating.
And you know that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, the crazy part too is Matt Stafford. Honestly, he's not off to a great start this year, and I don't know if it's just to the point where he's frustrated as well too with some of the things that are going on within the organization, or maybe this is the end for him. I really don't know, but you can't give Stafford any credit this year for any good play. That's for sure.
No, and listen, if I'm at Stafford, and if people didn't see it, read it to the Players Tribune. He talked about racial injustice and all the things that are important right now with athletes standing up and using their voice. The whole shut up and dribble thing has been over for a long time. But I respect the hell out of him. I've covered Matt for many years. I used to wait tables at Jay Alexander's and wait on Matt and Kelly before they were married. And I told them one day, I'm like, Matt, I'm so happy you're here, and I'll be covering you in the locker room, in a year or something. He probably like, this kid making crap up. And then, of course, when I saw him in the locker room, he said, man, I told you I'd be here. But he's been that way forever. He's been a Detroit guy. He hasn't been the problem. And Doug, fair point when you brought up the numbers aren't great, but the whole team is terrible right now. And it sucks because they've got some talent. I mean, Galladay's been banged up. They drafted, I thought, pretty well with Okuda and DeAndre Swift. And obviously they lost guys like Glover Quinn and Golden Tate and some others, and obviously Darius Slay. But there's way too much talent to be as bad as they've been. And I know Stafford got hurt last year. I've been a big defender of Matt Patricia. To me, it seems like this thing is coming to a crashing halt. Bob Quinn's had 5 years. The team is going backwards. They should have kept Caldwell. It's just frustrating. But if people want to wait on the lines, feel free. The chat's there. If you're watching on YouTube or streaming, by the way, to 4 different platforms. YouTube. I got a Twitch channel. Twitch. Twitter. And, of course, multiple Facebooks. Before we move on, we're going to talk a little NBA playoffs. As you see on the scroll right there, a chance to be involved to win $5,000 possibly. Raiders, Saints, Monday Night Football from the Death Star. That's opening up. So we'll get to all that NBA playoff reaction as well. And I'm really excited about the Lakers because they're kind of wackos. But before we do anything, Lawton, I want to start with you. There's his Lakers mask. Where's my mask? I got a poker chip. Here's my mask. So we want to thank everyone for watching. I know we got people from Xfinity Communities all over the place, of course, regular Task Force viewers as well. We're going to be doing a bunch of these shows over the next couple, 2-3 months. So stay tuned for all this. We appreciate all you watching and all the big bosses too. Hi to you guys. We love you. So Lawton, let everyone know a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm with Xfinity Communities. I'm a representative for up to 90 properties in the Metro Detroit area, covers 5 cities, and been working for Comcast for 5 years now. Great gig, a lot of support, really improving the customer experience on a daily basis.
Yep. By the way, you see that number below there. If anybody's interested in support or services from Xfinity, please text XC Task Force to 734-887-6008. Ironically, the 60008 is the last 4 digits of my phone number, so kind of random. And a rep, of course, will reach out to you directly. The numbers are right there in front of you. And Doug Rose, every rose has its thorn. Literally, know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, much like Lawton, man, work with Xfinity Communities and really blessed to have the opportunity. They let us do a lot of cool things like this. And I did bring along my Lions Xfinity X1 remote, which I didn't want to miss out the opportunity to bring this up. I believe it's the only thing in a Lions uniform that does its job and works the way it's supposed to. This thing is great, but it might not make it through the end of the season.
That is very well stated. Now, listen, it is a pleasure to be here. I really love the partnership we have formed with the Task Force and Xfinity, and we got a lot of great things coming up tonight and in the future as well. But let's start with a little NBA playoffs, and we'll start in Miami and Boston. And this is a Heat team that I want to say has come out of nowhere, Lawton, but they have a 2-1 series lead. I thought Boston was going to win this series in 6 games, and they still could. But the way this Heat team is playing together, as a unit under Spoelstra, it's really impressive so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and for the viewers that watched our last Task Force show for Xfinity Communities, we were talking about the NBA playoffs at the time. We said Miami was one of those teams that really could very well come out of the East just based on the way they were playing. They have a lot of youth. They have a lot of depth. They have great coaching. And look where we're at. We got Jimmy Buckets is holding things down. And listen, tonight's game, I mean, there's a good chance they go up 3-1. I think I would not be surprised to see them in the finals. Dan, we mentioned this on another show as well, and I know some people might think I'm a little crazy, but they have this eerily similar feeling to me to be kind of like the 04 Pistons, where they are really good defensively, quick to the ball. They have good coaching. They have one guy that's not really considered in many cases a super duper star, kind of like the Pistons had their Rasheed Wallace. That's kind of how I look at Jimmy Buckets. And I don't know, I like this Miami team a lot, and I feel like Boston, the only thing they're missing is a little bit of depth. Not sure if Hayward's going to provide that for them now. But I think I like Miami. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in the finals.
Doug, what impressed you most about Miami so far? Listen, we can't sleep on Boston. You look at Jaylen Brown. You look at the way that they obviously have played this restart bubble. They're still a really, really solid team. But Miami has just been the better team and looks like they're going to win the series as of right now. Obviously, a big Game 4 coming up tomorrow on Wednesday, so we look forward to that. Doug, what's impressed you most about Miami?
I'll be honest. I mean, they've gone into halftime with they've been down in halftime, and Eric Spoelstra's been able to make the adjustments that were necessary to really make those comebacks, and they have faced the adversity really well. And I think that's the most impressive thing from Miami. And let's talk a little bit about Jimmy Butler. Lawton, you brought it up.
The Butler did it!
Well, we talked about the Jimmy Butler story, and this guy was homeless in high school. He almost quit and came back to Texas when he played for Marquette. Now he's in the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe on his way to the NBA Finals. And what a cool story from Jimmy Butler. So I wish him all the best. And I'll be honest with you, I do not like the Celtics. Not anything to do with Detroit, but I just never have liked the Bucks. So I've been rooting for Miami just in that sense. But it'd be awesome to see Miami and the Lakers in the finals, in my opinion. So good luck to Miami.
And Jimmy Butler's one of those guys too that just to add on to what Doug was saying, he's just one of those guys that never seemed to be good when paired with another superstar. Just never seemed to work out. So this is like such a perfect team for him because you got a bunch of guys that are just up and coming, and he's the guy there, and it's documented that way. So I just feel like wouldn't be surprised, not sleeping on Boston and not taking anything away from Boston. Wouldn't be surprised to see this series go 7 and see Miami win it in 7 games.
And by the way, let's take a quick listen here. You hear the great voice of Mike Breed, a recent guest on the task force. So we're in big company here, and this should be a very interesting series. Game 4, obviously huge. If Miami wins Game 4, I think the series is over. But of course, if Boston can win Game 4, there's a home court advantage, but they would be considered the home team or the road team. Excuse me. Let me right back in it. All right. Before we get into Lawton's childhood dream, the Lakers, I did want to throw this question up from Hugo. Hugo Carmona. He said, at one point, do you think the Lions would consider a good team? 3 to 5 years. Let's quickly go around the panel. I will start. Right now, I thought the Lions going back to when they hired Patricia, even though I liked Caldwell, but I understood why they let him go because Quinn wanted his own guy. I thought by now they'd be a Super Bowl contender. They're not even close. So I can't even say 3 to 5 years because it looks like Patricia's done, Quinn's done. It's a total rebuild job again, and Stafford's probably done. Maybe the Lions get lucky. They get Trevor Lawrence, and they can trade Stafford. But right now, I am so backwards on where I thought I'd be right now with the Lions or where I thought that they would be. I can't even answer the 3 to 5 years question. Lawton?
I mean, it's just the question is, when can they be considered a good team? And I think a good team is maybe a wild card playoff team that maybe sneaks out a playoff win, but not necessarily gets that far. So we're not looking for great. We're just looking to go to the playoffs and win a game. That's it. And that's been the goal since 1991. So it's obvious that Matt Patricia and his staff they're not headed that direction. So it's time to flip it and change. And we've seen teams in the past. You mentioned my Dolphins earlier. I remember when Nick Saban took them over years ago. They were coming off a terrible season. I can't even remember the record, but it was like some sort of like a 10-game turnaround the next year. Nick Saban was able, a guy from college was able to get them to go 11-5 and get to the playoffs. So it can happen, and I would say that's good.
Doug Rose?
So I'm going to say, Hugo, take the dash out of there and just make it 35 years. And at some point in there, they'll figure it out. I don't know. I mean, it's been 50 plus, so who knows? But Peter King said it best. I think, week 2, Matt Patricia already looks done. And that's pretty unfortunate because I'll be the first to admit, I was excited when they brought Matt Patricia here, the Patriot way. I bought into it. I was a sucker for that, and it doesn't seem to be working out. And I'll be honest with you, they got to go to Arizona, and they're going to play Kyler Murray. Arizona's off to a 2-0 start. I don't see him winning that game. I don't see him beating the Saints. They're going to go 0-4 into the bye week. I mean, at what point is it enough for Matt Patricia? So, Dan, you talked about it a little bit. Maybe 1-6. That's when you start looking at firing him. I think you fire him before the bye week. Let Darrell Bevell have his opportunity to be the interim coach and see where it goes from there.
I've got one word for you when it comes to the Lions situation. Gross. All right. Well, this is the opposite of gross. Doug, we got to give the guy a little love here. He's a big Lakers sycophant. He always has been. And I know I was talking to Lawton a while last night. We were texting. We had I sent some carrier pigeons over, and he got so nervous at the end of this game. But you'll see in a minute what obviously happened. Lawton, we'll start with you here. Your Lakers are looking great. I mean, obviously one of the preseason favorites or the pre-restart bubble favorites. But when LeBron James and Anthony Davis play the way they're playing, along with your boy Caruso. By the way, there's a store I used to model for called Caruso when I was in much better shape in my young days out of Birmingham. But how are you feeling about your Lakers right now? 2-0, barely escaping last night.
Well, listen, we both agreed on Denver early on in this playoff, just knowing how deep they were and how many guys could get into double figures. And I think aside from Michael Porter Jr., they just didn't get that last night. Jokic showed up, Murray showed up, and they just didn't get that. Plus, let's be honest, I've got the Laker mask off. I can be objective. It was a very sloppy basketball game. Both teams had over 20 turnovers apiece. It wasn't, an epic basketball game from those proportions. But the thing about Denver that I like is that they're just never out of the game, and you better be prepared.
I told you about Denver on our last Xfinity show a month and a half ago. They're the team that could wreck everything.
Yeah, and honestly, before the series started, I said Lakers in 6 because of how much I respected Denver and how much I watched every single game they played against the Clippers, thinking to myself, wow, if they're able to dethrone the Clippers and come back 3 different times from double-digit deficits, this is a very scary team. Now, Lakers up 2-0. If the Nuggets can't pull it off tomorrow night, I mean, I'm sad to say for the Nuggets, it could be over. It could be a wrap.
Yeah, but how about that shot there, as you just saw? We'll see the replay here by Anthony Davis. No time left. They're talking about bubblicious. The 3 for the win, no 2 for a tie. Time expired. That was ridiculous. That was one of the great clutch end of game conference final shots. That was like not Jordan in the finals, but close to that. Over by
that was like Big Shot Bob in that series back. I think it was in 2001. I saw a statistic today that was really interesting. Since they started keeping the stat, there's a statistic. It's like a clutch stat where under 24 seconds in games that are within either just under 2-point deficit. Anthony Davis is ranked number 2 in field goal percentage. And number 1 is Al Horford. There's a lot of names on the list. Caron Butler, Pau Gasol. Like those are your top 4. Not names you would normally think when you're thinking clutch. You're thinking maybe Jordan and Kobe and these guys. But Anthony Davis was the right guy to take that shot last night. LeBron went cold in the second half. He looked like he was unstoppable in the first half. So glad that Anthony Davis took that shot and really glad he made it.
Yeah, Doug, we know that Lawton was like the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, Hanukkah Harry all coming at once last night. Were you as excited when AD hit that shot?
I am rooting for the Lakers for the Kobe scenario last night. They're wearing the Black Mamba snakeskin jersey, so I thought that was pretty nice. And then obviously Anthony Davis mouthed the words Kobe after he made that shot. I think the story there is kind of what I'm rooting for, is similar to Jimmy Butler in Miami, and I just think it would be really cool to see those 2 teams in the finals. And at the first Xfinity show that we did, I said LA and Miami, I believe, are going to be in the NBA finals, and that's, I think, what's going to happen now. So look at that.
Yeah, what is this little Lunce guy? Show that.
This is all-star throwback Kobe right here, man.
Hey, listen, in a year where the Black Mamba lost his life tragically, I'm not ever anti-Lakers, but I mean, Lawton, you kind of drive me nuts with all the Lakers nonsense. Lawton has Laker underwear, Laker toilet paper. When I go over there, he makes Laker waffles. So it's a little too much. But I always respected them as a kid. Loved when Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas kissed at midcourt, then went to battle. I respect the hell out of the Lakers. But in this year of years, after all the stuff that's gone on and losing Kobe, I would be okay with the Lakers winning the title. And I think there's a great chance right now. I don't care who comes out of the East. If the Lakers win the West, I don't think either team can beat LA. I just don't see it.
I agree. Yeah. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since the Lakers went to the finals and won it. So it's time. And for a franchise like LA, that's the goal every year. Even in 2013, that was the goal. So yeah, like I said, it's time. And again, we said this before. No excuses. You got 2 generational players. You got a heck of a coaching staff, and now. The waters have parted. Once the Clippers were out, that was really the only team that made me really nervous. So
was that as special of a day for you when the Clippers lost to the Nuggets as your birthday, or maybe your communion? Like, was that one of the great days of your life?
You know what it was? It was the Clippers becoming the Clippers. They've done this time and time again in the playoffs, and it's not like a real hot take. This has been their problem. They can't close, and that's part of the reason they haven't been to a conference final in so many years. So, that unfortunate for them. I thought they might need to do a coaching change. We'll see what Steve Ballmer decides, but at this point, they've gone fishing, and we're rooting for the Lakers.
Ballmer. All right, a couple things I want to do here before we get into our Monday night preview at the Death Star, the first ever game at that crazy,
I'm
awesome
looking forward to that
in Vegas. First, I want to throw this up again. If any of the viewers are watching this great edition of the Task Force, we love being involved with Xfinity Communities and Xfinity itself. If you're interested in supporter services from Xfinity, please text XC Task Force to 734-887-6008. And Lawton and Doug, you guys said this. A rep will reach out to you directly. This isn't an automated thing, an email, snail mail. You will have a rep reach out to you, personally, which I think we've kind of lost these days because there's so many people that are at call centers. You guys do it on a personal basis. I love it.
Oh yeah. On my team, you got the great Brian Bradley and the great Monique Williams. They're going to reach out to you and take care of everything you need. And Lawton, they've got some great people on his team as well.
Absolutely. One we call Hollywood, one we call Rozzy Roz, But honestly, it doesn't matter where they're at. If we get a text and it's from an area we service, like in Indiana or whatnot, we'll be happy to pair them up with a rep. Again, we're trying to improve the customer experience on a daily basis, and we just feel like that personal touch really adds to it.
The white glove treatment, man.
I was told, Doug, that Monique, a big Squatch guy, big Dan Leach Squatch guy. Is that true? I know Monique was very excited when she knew you were working with me.
Oh yeah, she couldn't wait. She actually asked for an autograph, and she wants it on the Squatch signed picture. So,
by the way, people don't know I am a Squatch, and Squatch and Friends, my new high-level, highfalutin, high-concept show drops next Thursday, 9/24/20. There's been teasers cut out there, so I know you guys are looking forward to that. And we thought we throw that out there. Squatch and Friends.
It's going to be in 720p. So
yes, 720p. Now. Before we get into that Raiders Saints preview, what a game that should be tonight. Lawton, I want to go to you. I know Doug going to talk about this as well. People are seeing the scroll, go across their screen, and they're like, $5,000. And it's always exciting. You got a chance to win some cash, but also sports are involved. So please explain what's going on with Xfinity Sports are back. We got a little video to play for you. There's the website right there. So please let everyone know what's going on in this 5K.
All right, I'll take it first, Doug. Xfinity Sports are back. It's our sweepstakes that we have going on right now. You have 74 days. That goes through December 4th. So you can log on once a day and get an entry. And I know I see people do it all the time on Facebook when they're trying to win contests, and they'll vote up for people every day. That's all you got to do. Set a reminder on your phone and win this money. I know locally someone won last year. Unfortunately, it wasn't in my portfolio, so I couldn't super celebrate it. But at the same time, we made somebody's holiday season for sure. It's a real thing, $5,000. You can win it. Again, XfinitySportsAreBack.com. It will not take you long to register. Super easy. And did I miss anything there, Doug?
No, as you said, they can log on once a day and enter one time per day. And I think it's just a great opportunity for somebody to win some cash before the holidays and celebrate the fact that sports are back. And definitely check that out. Visit that website down below. And like you said, Lawton, it was somebody local in our area that won it last year. And I couldn't have been more excited for him. So it was very cool.
Well, yeah. Why don't we do this? Because we got, I think Lawton is the star of this video. Why don't we show a little video here, if we may, about what's going on? Or why don't you explain what's going on?
Oh, yeah. So this is just what the website looks like. There's some trivia schedule that you can get involved with. A lot of different things. You can access the Xfinity.com site from here. One thing I did want to mention, when you're signing up, if you do live in an apartment community, mobile home community, senior living community, anything that has, it's like considered a multi-dwelling unit, feel free, click on the drop-down box. And if your apartment complex is listed, click on that just so we can track it and see, how many entries we have and whatnot. So just for the analytics portion, if you're able to do that, it's great. Again, I just encourage everyone to get involved. It's free money. All you got to do is log on once a day.
Who doesn't love 5K, man? I would buy multiple Squatch costumes and maybe some guava, kiwi, and a lot of sushi, because that's what the Squatch likes. All right, before we go here, once again, you guys, it's always so great to be with you both and to be part of this Xfinity Communities family, and we really just love the partnership, and we're going to keep it going. But listen, we've got a big game tonight, a big game for the first time ever at what they are calling the Death Star. The Death Star, that new beautiful stadium, Allegiant Stadium, People are wondering it's an airline. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Let's just take a quick look at this for a second here. I mean, it's Vegas. It's football. It's a multi-billion-dollar stadium. It's the Death Star. It's got the Star Wars angle. I can't wait. Before we get into the game tonight, and I'll start with you, Doug, how cool does this look?
It's amazing, man. And Las Vegas is one of my favorite cities. I try to go there a couple times a year. So I was super excited when I found out that the Raiders were going to be moving to Las Vegas. I don't think the stadium is SoFi. SoFi is pretty awesome in Los Angeles. But I'm really excited for this game, man. And if they're calling that the Death Star, I'm predicting that Drew Brees is going to beat Luke Skywalker tonight and get that baby down. So
nice segue there. And listen, if people were wondering, the Saints have been a consistent favorite, anywhere between 5.5 to 4.5, and now down to 4, though, as far as what they are point spread wise over the Saints or the Raiders, because there is a ridiculous amount of money coming in on Derek Carr and the Raiders. So I'm just going to say before we get to Lawton, the official DTM prediction Sasquatch selection end of last season 15-2 against the spread is take the Raiders plus the 4. A lot of money coming out of the Raiders. I think it's a close game. The Saints are a great team, but the offense was not great last week in that win over Brady and Tampa Bay. It's the defense that should scare Raiders fans. I think Carr and that Raiders offense, and Josh Jacobs specifically, have a huge night tonight. And I don't know if they're going to win outright, but it will be a field goal or less game. Lawton?
It's amazing. We don't ever agree on anything, but I pretty much echo everything you said. So
that's not true.
I feel like there's a lot of mojo here right now. So for those that don't know, I was born in Las Vegas. I'm going to be there this weekend with my son, taking him for his 16th birthday. We'll try not to get into too much trouble. The Raiders, their first game in Vegas, I just don't see them losing this game. They're 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games. And you're telling me they're a home dog under the lights? Let's go. We're going with the Raiders tonight, 23-20. I think the over-under was 49. Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. I like the under. And I only think the Raiders are going to win. I mean, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of mojo around him, but let's keep in mind, Michael Thomas is out. He was the number 1 receiver last year as far as catches. So I feel like that you're going to see that's a very, very big loss for Drew Brees in that offense. I like the Raiders tonight by a slim margin.
Current total, by the way, 48.5, and that spread, as I mentioned, is down to 4. A lot of money was on the Saints. A lot of money coming back starting this morning. I've been monitoring that on the Raiders. I think the Raiders are the play in this game. And I think you look at that. You mentioned the home dog. The old adage, man, there's nothing better than a home dog. You got to jump into the pool, eat that dog, and win the cash. Yes. All right, you two have been fantastic as always. Before we actually,
where's my prediction?
Yeah, I'm getting to your prediction. I was moving there. Doug is the main man. So look, you get your own screen for this.
Yeah,
your own screen. I was going to let us all do predictions.
I honestly, I hate to say this, but I can't disagree with you guys more. Even though Michael Thomas is down, Drew Brees has an amazing ability to make wide receivers look much better than they are. Alvin Kamara is going to run all over the Raiders defense. I got the Raiders going 31-13 over the Raiders. I got the Saints going 31-13 over the Raiders. They're going to.
You didn't even mention Jared Cook in the kitchen. You're just going to mention Kamara.
Listen, they're gonna run all over them, and they're gonna spoil the big party in Las Vegas tonight. The only unfortunate thing is that there's not gonna be any fans there, because I think this would have been an awesome opportunity to see all those Las Vegas fans. But hopefully soon we'll be back to that.
But good news for all the beer drinkers in the state of Nevada, because the governor just approved the sale of them today. So
what about honey beer?
What about honey drinkers?
What about honey beer drinkers?
That's good for your blood sugar right there.
Hey, by the way, it is the Jewish New Year. Lashana Tovat, all the fellow Jews like myself celebrating. May your New Year be sweet and filled with honey and happiness. And by the way, rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Before we go here, not a political statement at all. It's Supreme Court justice. I don't care what party you're affiliated. She was an icon. So rest in power to her. Lawton, your prediction, fine friend.
My prediction obviously for tonight's game, I like the Raiders. I like the Lakers against the Heat in the finals. Lakers in 5 in the finals. And make sure you log on to XfinitySportsAreback.com and do that. Like I said, it's a free opportunity to win $5,000. And, I haven't seen any sweepstakes like that lately. So jump on the Xfinity train, get on that website, and handle your business.
Give me a score for tonight. Raiders 23,
Saints 20.
All right, I was gonna maybe go just Raiders to cover. I'm switching. I think that this is, even though there's no fans, the Death Star is going to lift off and hopefully not kill Alderaan. But it's going to be a big night for Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, and the Raiders. I'll go Raiders 31, Saints 28. A late field goal gets it done at the Death Star as that opens up. Kelly Carroll wishing us a happy new year. Thank you very much. Before we go, friends, let me throw this up again. If anybody's interested in supporter services from Xfinity, please text XC Task Force to that number right there. Rep will reach out to you directly. Last words, we'll start with you, Doug.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you think that the Raiders are going to put up 31 against the Saints. That's they're a great defense, man.
They are, but it's at LA. It's in Vegas. It's on the road. I don't care about no fans.
All right. Well, final words for me is make sure you guys take every opportunity to fill out that sweepstakes entry form. And once again, thanks, Dan, for letting us be a part of that. This has been a huge success, and we are grateful to have you. We're grateful to have this opportunity through Xfinity Communities, and Lawton always doing a great job putting everything together. Really appreciate that as well, too.
Man, couldn't work with two better guys. Lawton, party shots.
Party shots. Shout out to my man Luke, the property manager at Clinton Villa Mobile Home Community, who sponsored this show tonight by littering his community with a ton of Squatch-related paraphernalia and task force advertisements. Also want to send a shout out to my man John Smith. It's been 2 years since he passed away. We called September 21st John Smith Eve, and we're going to be celebrating tonight by eating some super well done burgers. Lost his life 2 years ago to pneumonia with complications with sickle cell. We miss him every day, and every year, 9/21, we celebrate his life. So we're going to do that after the show tonight.
Beautifully said. By the way, Squatch and Friends is coming, and don't forget to go to XfinitySportsAreBack.com. Great job as always, fine friends. As I always like to say, spread love, not hate. Wash your hands. Be kind to each other. Believe in the dream. For the great Lawton Lunce and Doug Rose, I'm Dan Leach. Thanks so much for watching this special edition of the Task Force brought to you by Xfinity Communities. We'll see you next time. Until then, believe in the dream.